Unified Study YouTube channel. We are doing PYQs practice series, and now last minute quick revision we are doing. I'm so sorry for the technical issue. I don't know, it was some problem with the network. Just now I sorted down the issue. I think everything is clear. Audio, video, and PPT, everything clear, learners? Yes? Yes. Yes. Connected. Yes, connected. Everything clear, learners? Yes, I'm visible now, right? Yes, shall we start our class today? Time 11:50. I'll be trying to take you the concepts of communication, the very important latest topics on communication and the logical reasoning. So this is what my plan today to cover the important concepts. Are you all ready, learners? Do you like the session? Yes, ma'am. Thank you, Sangeeta ma'am. How was the yesterday's class? Yesterday's morning class? Lakshmikant sir, I'm sorry, because of technical issue it was late. I had some network issues, that's why late. Yes. So I like to start with communication. So for December 2023, we have exam on starts from 6th of December. We are doing paper 1 quick revision. Yesterday we did discussion on computer teaching aptitude, right? And today we are going to do discussion on communication and logical reasoning. Yes. So with communication, these are all the topics that we get questions from: communication, characteristics of communication, types of communication. Under types, we have verbal, non-verbal, intercultural, group communication, mass media communication, barriers to communication. These are all the topics that they cover. And each time they focus on one updated area. But definitely we'll be getting questions from this type of question: verbal, non-verbal question, group question, and intercultural and barrier, where these are the sure short topics where we'll be getting questions from these areas, right? So out of these 5 questions, we'll be getting 3 to 4 questions from these areas. That one question may become, we need to have more kind of understanding, that way we'll be getting question, right? Thank you for understanding, learners. Thank you so much. Yes. So today we are going to cover the concept along with a few PYQs. Okay, right. So let me start. 1 hour we do for communication, 1 hour we'll do for communication, logical reasoning. So what do you make communication? Where communication is a form of interaction that which we may do with you, right? Now I'm communicating with you. You're going to able to understand what I mean, right? Through what I'm communicating through my words, I'm communicating through my actions, I'm communicating through a medium called a PowerPoint presentation and a medium called YouTube. These are all the it's called channel, right? So these are all the things I communicate to you. Through what I communicate through my voice, I communicate through my words, I communicate through my actions. Here are some kind of a presentation, the content is there through which I communicate, so that what the receiver and you understand what communication is meant and what I also mean. This is the process of communication. So I'm here to tell about communication. You're going to get the context of communication and what all the intermediate steps are there that we are going to learn. Yes. So it is a form of interaction which takes place through symbols. It means what? It consists of gesture, picture, plastic, verbal, or any other. You can take this, right? Picture, verbal, or any other, where that makes you to think of something and where you may respond, and that we call it as communication. Yes. See here, a sender will be there a receiver will be there. In the term, we have the message and we have the interpretation and we have the feedback. This is the major concept of communication. And these are the 7 C's of communication. When I do communicate to you, right? Now I'm communicating to you, right? Regarding what? I'm communicating to you regarding NTA Net Paper 1 Communication Unit. So I'm here communicating about communication unit that is being asked on NTA Net Paper 1. So how the content should be, how the delivery should be, it should be clear with all respect to net examination for paper 1. And it should be very concise about the point that I'm meaning, right? 7 C's of communication, 4 S's of communication, very clear to the point. What are all the types of communication? What are all the examples? That's all. And that we call concise. Keep to the point and very short and simple. Concrete, right? I should be very clear, not firstly giving too much of detail. Concrete means what? Not giving too much of detail, correct to the point. Correct means what? I have to give you accurate data regarding communication. Coherent means what? There should be a flow. The first slide we discussed, right? Communication, characteristics, types of communication, that flow should be there. That we call coherent. We have asked many times the characteristics of communication, and that will be getting these things. Complete communication. Complete means what? Whatever I am telling you, it should be conveyed to you very properly. It is not necessary to complete all the topics are there, but even though I convey you 2 topics, that has to be delivered to you completely. That is the context. And then courteous, right? The way I talk to you, right? It has to be very politely and friendly and very officially, right? And it should be professionally also. That's called courtesy. We used to say courtesy, right? In all the news pages and all, we have a word called courtesy. We have a word called courtesy. Courtesy means what? It should be in a professional way, right? It should not be hard, hurting you. Yes, exactly. Concise. Yes. So these are the 7 C's of communication. And along with that, we have 4 S's of communication. 4 S's of communication. What are the 4 S's of communication? Can you please tell me quick? We discussed already. Yes. 4 S's of communication. Short, simple, quick. You also come with me, it will be very nice. Yes, very good. Simple, very good, quick. Very good. It should be short, simple, strength, exactly, sincere. Yes, it should be short, simple, strength, and sincere. Yes, very good, Pritika. Very good. Short, simple, strength, and sincere. What do you mean by short? As I said, right, it should be very short to this point. 7 C's means what? Only have to mention that 7 C's. Short means what? Short, simple, strength, sincere. These are the 4 S's of communication. Simple. I have to tell you very simple example to make you understand what I mean with respect to the concept. Strength means what? So whatever tone I use right now, which makes you to believe what I am telling you. So that's what we call strength. So it should be authentic. It should be genuine. Okay. It should be genuine so that the end user understands. As many students are giving you, Meenakshi, Lalita, Sri Ramya, Ri, or all Pritika, or all giving, Monica, or all giving the answers, right? How you give all these things? Because of the genuineness and the authenticity of the data that I deliver you. And sincere. The message I reflect should reflect the sincerity of the speaker. I'm the speaker, right? I should be very sincere of doing this thing. Then only it will reach the receiver. So whenever a person who communicates, keep these things in mind, like it has to be simple, it has to be short, it has to be strong, and it has to be sincere. Strong in what sense? The content. Okay. Sincere in what terms? I have to do this activity in a sincere way. I am doing this communication rapid revision in a sincere way, because that gives you some kind of an information to you to do your examination. Clear, right? Next comes very important, very important, models of communication. This we have seen before, but I'm just going you for a quick revision. Linear model, interactive model, transaction model, and transaction model. These are the three models. What do you mean by a model of communication? What do you mean by a model of communication? Why we have the model of communication? Can anyone tell me why we have the model of communication? Because I want to communicate. All communication are not said to be following this same design or same way of expressing things, right? Few models are there where we will not get feedback. Only one side only will be communication will be done, and that is kind of a communication. And one case, what will happen? One person will be communicating, another one will be listening. After the first person communication, second person will be communicating, and the first person will be kept silent, right? This is a kind of a communication. Another kind of communication where both the persons will interact at the same time. So these all we call it as what? The different models of communication. And according to the communication, we have these three important models: linear, interactive, and transactional model. What do you mean by linear model? Linear model means what? See, it will be like in this way, right? Very simple. It will be like in this way. What is this? This way is, what is this? It means where the sender will be there, message will be there, receiver will be there. That's all. Everything in form of a linear way, and that we call this linear model. We will go Aristotle model, Laswell model, Shannon-Weaver model, SMCR model. I'll be going just quick with models. Okay. What do you mean linear model? It is one way, direct approach to make the party to understand about what I am interacting. See, Aristotle model, this is said to be the first communication model has been there in the science. That is Aristotle model has been in the year 300 BC. Speaker, speech, audience, and effect. And there is an occasion. We can take any kind of a political parties, political meetings. Okay. A large political meetings we can take as an example for this Aristotle model of communication. What will happen in Aristotle model of communication? In political meeting, the speaker will speak from this side, right? The audience will simply will listen, and the effect will be created of whether to voting them or not. And that model we called the Aristotle model of communication. And next comes Laswell model of communication. Understand, just go through the years. I'll be asking you the PYQs at the last. And Laswell model tells you what, who says, what he says, through which channel, to whom, with what effect. Right. So these are the calls of the Laswell model of communication. These are called as what? Laswell model of communication. I hope you all have these things, right? Yes. Yes, right? Okay. And one more thing with respect to this Aristotle model, I have to tell you. What do you mean Aristotle model? Political meetings. Imagine there is a big political meeting has been organized. The speaker is there on the stage. He is speaking. All the audience are listening very carefully. Okay. What is the main purpose of this Aristotle model? Think a very big personality, a political person is speaking there on the stage. He is talking to people. What will be the impact? He will persuade to do some things. He will persuade to do things. What is the meaning of persuade? He will be make that people to think it that way and to do something. That is called persuade. Okay. He will make that people to think and to do that way, that we call persuade. Okay, persuade. So when we do these things, right, we have three things to be kept in mind. One is, learners, let me know when I go fast. Okay. As it is a quick revision. Okay. So I'll be going a little bit fast. So let me know when I go fast. Okay, very big political party has been happening. It is mainly purpose to motivate, is to persuade. We have to keep these three things in mind: ethos, pathos, yes, ethos, pathos, and logos. What do you mean by this ethos, pathos, and logos? Ethos, pathos, and logos. Ethos means what? The authority and credibility. The authority and credibility of whom? Credibility of the speaker. Of the speaker who is there speaking, right? Pathos means what? Who are listening the thing, right? Who are listening the thing? The target audience. The audience was sitting there, right? They have the pathos, right? Pathos. And then logos. Logos is nothing but the context, right? The context. How I relate things, how I'm talking those things and making the people to understand. And this we call as logos. That is nothing but logic. That is nothing but what? Logic. Here it is the audience. Here it is the pathos. So whenever I do a political meeting, these three things the people will be having it in mind. The speaker who speaks, right? It's called ethos, pathos, and logos. Okay. Yes, right. Very good. And what are the major features of Aristotle model? It is a linear model. Yes, it is a linear model. And this model is not having any kind of a feedback. There is no feedback in Aristotle model. Okay. Why? Because the speaker is speaking, the audience are listening, and there is an effect has been created in their mind. And that is the major component of Aristotle model. This is a major component of what? Aristotle model. Clear? Yes. And next comes Lasswell's model. What do you mean by Lasswell's model? It is called in the year 1948. It is also a linear one-way model. It talks about who says, what message he says, through which medium he conveys the things, to whom he says those things, with what effect has been created on the side of the receiver. And this model we call it as what? Lasswell model of communication. Okay, Lasswell model of communication. Again, I'm telling these two models are said to be what? Linear model. In exam, we may get what kind of question is, what kind of model it is. We get what kind of model, what are the features of this model. All these things can be asked in this. Clear, learners? Yes? Yes. Moving to the next. Moving to the next one is Shannon-Weaver model and Berlow's SMCR model. Very, very important. Many times we have got the questions from this model. What do you mean by Shannon-Weaver model? See, this year I have a thing to be delivered. I will tell you. Shannon-Weaver. This is also a linear model. One thing is added and that is called noise. One thing added that is called a noise. Here we have few concepts that has to be remembered. In communication, what one thing comes is we need to be very aware of vocabularies. Like in communication, we have vocabularies like entropy, redundancy. I'll zoom. You can check. I'll zoom. Wait. See, this is Shannon-Weaver model. Information will be there, transmitter will be there, and through the channel it will be sent, and the receiver will receiving the content. He decode it, and it will be reaches to him. The message will be reaches, and in the channel there will be a point called noise. When it was been introduced during the machines, right? Telecommunication being transferred, right? At that time, this model has been very, very popular. When that telecommunication, electronic mode of communication comes, right? In that place, it was been a very popular one. And this year, there is a small correction. What is the correction is? Actually, it was made in the year, see, I have given here the Shannon-Weaver model is the earliest and most influential model of communication. It was initially published by Claude Shannon in the year 1948, the paper Mathematical Theory of Communication. This model was further developed together with Warren Weaver and their co-authored is one published in 1949. Okay, that's why it is being given as 1949 here in this PPT. You can change that, you can have an idea of 1948 is the original version. Okay, it is the initially published in the year 1948. Please kindly do change this one. Initially, it was being published in the year 1948 and after some further development, right, Warren Weaver made it published in the year 1949. Yes, please do make this correction. Yes. Are we getting the zoomed one or what? One minute, I'll zoom. See? So please kindly make change this one 1948 and 49. Make a note of it. Be clear. 48 the initial publication was being done and 1949 what happened? The another author Warren Weaver. Okay, in their co-author book 1949 it was being published. The book name is what? The Mathematical Theory of Communication. You can also note this one. This particular diagram, this particular framework is being published in the paper called the Mathematical Theory of Communication. Yes. Okay, right. So what we have to learn in this concept is like entropy. What do you mean by entropy? What do you mean by entropy? Entropy is nothing but what? Confusion. Entropy is nothing but it's a confusion. That confusion will leads to unpredictable message. If I am saying something, right, there was some kind of a confusion. We are not able to understand the concept. What will happen? You'll be confused. If you get confused, what will happen? You'll not be able to predict the message correctly, right? So that concept we call entropy. What do you mean by redundancy? Giving the same message again and again, that creates a redundancy. What do you mean by noise? Noise means what? It can be a technical noise. It can be a physical noise, right? Some people may be shouting at you when you are studying. There may be some kind of an technical noise. There may be some kind of a wire problem. It may create a noise. These are all we call it as what? Noise. That too, it's a mathematical model. That's why they're giving so much of importance for noise. What do you mean by noise in technical term? We call whenever an interference happens, whenever a signal is being transmitting, whenever the another signal interferes with that signal, right, there will be an interference that may create noise. In earlier days, you have heard, right, when we are talking through normal phone, we'll be getting crosstalks. We'll be getting crosstalks, right? What do you mean by that crosstalks? That crosstalks is nothing but signal clash, interference between signals. I'll be talking in one signal, another signal will come, and the crosstalks will happen. That is also we call noise. Sometimes when we talk, some grain sounds will be there. Sound will be there. That is all we call it as also noise. So this is a model which they have been proposed in the mathematical model. And please note down the word. This is mainly meant for telecommunication. This is a mathematical model being proposed in the year 1948 by Shannon along with Weaver in the year 1949. Clear learners? Yes, very good, super. Next comes Berlow SMCR model, very, very important. Learners who are new to the channel, please kindly do subscribe the channel. Please do like the session. We are 72 watching now live, but only 31 likes for the session. Please do like the session. I hope you like the content that I am giving you for your examination. It will be useful for your examination. Yes. So next comes Berlow's SMCR model in the year 1960. I think this year they have asked with the years. We'll be looking for the PYQs now. Don't worry. And see what is this thing? Source, message, channel, and receiver. These four things we call it as this SMCR model. Communication skill. So right, what do you mean by this source? I'm the source. I'm delivering you something. What I should have? I should have a good communication skill. I should have a good attitude. I should have a good knowledge. I should have a good social system. Here it is cultural. Okay, here it is culture. Here it is culture. Here it is culture. Here it is culture. Here it is code. Here it is taste. And here is also its culture. Clear learners? Yes. So a source I'm delivering, right, has to have a good communication skill, attitude, knowledge, social system, and culture. So the message which has, right, it should have a content and elements. What we call it as an elements is the things are there right now in this particular content. What are all the elements? I have some pictures, I have some text, I may have some kind of animation, some gifs may be there, and all those things we call it as an element. Right? I have some kind of a treatment to be delivered. And structure and code. These are all with respect to the message. Next comes channel. So the channel, what? Either through this channel you can able to see, you can able to listen. Right? There are some channels through which we can able to touch, we can able to smell. When you go for a session on cooking, right? When you just go for a session on cooking, right? What you can do? You can smell, you can experience through the smell, you can touch that dish, right? That is the channel, right? So this is what we call channel. Receiver, what? I'm the receiver, right? So sorry, I'm not the receiver, you are the receiver. So on your end you should be able to what I am telling you. That is communication skill. Only when you have that communication skill you'll be able to understand. Only when you have the attitude of receiving things you'll be able to receive. You should have the knowledge about NTA net paper 1 communication. At least you have to know what is that I'm talking about. That knowledge only will help you to be continue in the channel, or else you will leave the channel. Yes or no? Yes or no, right? Yes. What? You want to zoom? Yes. Yes. Zoom, I'll zoom. As I was writing, right, it was now clear. Right. Social system, as we all know, social system, the way where the place we, the culture we all, that's called social system. Okay. We may be from a very rural place, we may be from a very modern big cities, we may be some kind of a corporation, from a municipality, right? So what will happen with respect to social system is the exposure will be different, right? And culture, yes, as we all know, we are all from a certain culture. Through the culture, the receiver and the context will be. Now, when we discussed a question in a PYQ session, the question is all about the uh, cultural differences. The cultural background has a very big impact on the learning experience. Right? I am from a particular cultural background. My learning experience will be different compared to another person who is from a very reputed institutions. He has been exposed to many things, and he has been culturally very good with his subject. What will be their experience? It will be different, right? So the cultural background will create a very big impact on learning. So that concept we have to remember. Yes, clear, learners? Yes, clear. Yes. So when it comes to Shannon Weaver, we have to so we have seen Shannon Weaver model and we have seen Berlow's SMCR model. Clear, learners? Going to the next one. Very quick, we have to see interactive model. We have Osgood, Wilbur, Scram's model. Scram's model, what is very important here? We have a three things: encoder, decode, uh, feedback will come here. So whenever I do interaction, there will be a feedback that we have to remember, right? It emphasizes the paramount importance of feedback. In the earlier model, we have a concept of noise, and now this model we have a concept of feedback. Throughout the circle, we have sender, message, and the receiver. What will happen? He will become the sender on the next cycle. Okay, the sender will be the receiver, receiver will be the sender. It will be going on like that. So it is a model, a two-way communication of ideas, messages, and information. Okay, and see here, field of experience is the term introduced here. What do you mean by field of experience? Okay, you are studying a concept now. You have your own field of experience to understand things. I have my own experience of understanding things, right? So based on our own experience in our own field, right, in our own place, based on that only we'll be able to understand the things, and that is called as what? Interactive model, field of experience. So I tell in one angle, but the person on the other end receive it in either in the right sense or in the wrong sense because of the experience that he have in his own place, right? And that is called field of experience. And this is Wesley McLean model. This model is all based upon the environmental factors. The environmental factors will place how to receive that thing. And here comes an important keyword called gatekeeper. What do you mean by a gatekeeper? A gatekeeper is one in newspaper you have seen editors, right? Editors. What is the role of editor? Whatever you give, they will publish? No, they will not publish. They will check whether this portion will be published on the main page or somewhere in the corner, somewhere in the middle, with what details it has to be published. It can be rejected or not. Everything will be done by the gatekeeper. So in terms of mass communication, right, in case of print media and all, this gatekeeper plays a very vital role. Okay, clear, learners? Yes. Yes. And one thing I've just left with this model, when you take this Osgood Scram's model, right, we can take examples like emails, text messages, online forums, all can be taken as an example for interactive model. I'll complete all the possible models and then I'll give you for a few PYQs. Linear communication model is the small gist. Linear communication model, one way, direct approach, understanding between two parties. Please kindly take note of this. Linear model, what are the linear models? We have to note down. Aristotle model, Shannon-Weaver model, Berlow's SMCR model are all the linear model. Interactive model means what? Between two-way, it's a two-way exchange between multiple parties. Underline, it is multiple parties. Transactional models means what? It is also a two-way, but exchange between two or more parties that involve dialogue and mutual understanding. In transactional, I'll be having a kind of understanding between people, but here that is not the case. It is to work with, form a solution, make decision, and conceive innovative ideas. Interaction is different, transaction is different. Please kindly note down. It involves dialogue and mutual understanding. Okay, yes, very good. Next, transaction model, balanced transaction model. Just note down what all the things is there. It is also two-way process. Sender, receiver will send a message. Okay. Here it is a multi-layered feedback. Both a verbal and non-verbal plays a very important role. What do you mean by verbal? Verbal means words. Non-verbal means my actions. Like action, expression, sound, volume, my body language, the way I sit, the gesture, the posture, everything talks about the non-verbal. Okay, yes, here comes very important things with respect to signal and prompt. Okay, signal and prompt means whatever sign I show you, whatever prompt I show you, right? That is all called a signal. We here use a concept called cues. Very important word, please underline and note it down. Cues are nothing but a signal or prompt. What do you mean signal? If I take class, your friend is sitting there in a classroom. Imagine in a classroom, you are showing sign that it is boring. That is a signal. If you want to leave the classroom, you'll be showing some signal, right? And it's all called cues. If you're very interested, you'll be sitting in a very curious. That is a cue, that is you're very interested. You understand? If you're feeling very hot, the fan is not working properly, the external climate is very hot, what you'll be doing? You'll be just cleaning, you'll be just like doing like this, right? This is all we call signals. Right? Clear? And it happens based on the context, right? Social context, cultural context, and relational context. What all the context we have to see? Social context means what? The rules and norms that govern how people communicate with one another. If I go to a society, I talk to a person, I talk with respect to the, I meet a stranger, I will talk in a different way. If I meet an old friend, I'll be talking in a different way. I meet my relative, talk in a different way. I meet a friend, talk in a different way. This is how we communicate with each other. That's called social context. Cultural context means what? Where the people have the same identity. Okay. The cultural and co-cultural identities, people have the example, biological, gender, ethnicity, nationality. I'm going for a trip. I'm going for a trip abroad. There I meet a person of my own native. How I'll be? Right? That's cultural context. And relational context means what? With all respect to relative. Emotion, not in terms of emotional attachment. It's a relational context, right? Through which the transaction will happen. Through which the transaction will happen. Yes, yes, Monica. That will make you understand more things, right? My expression communicates you more thing about the models. Then next, this is very important. We have to remember not only in terms of models of communication, but also in general terms of communication. This comes also in the barriers of communication. This comes also in the barriers of communication. Oh, okay. So we have to understand this. Physical, physiological, psychological, semantic. Physical context means what? My table is not good. My chair is shaking. The light is not properly coming into the room, so I was not able to do things, right? Physical context, physical space. And physiological context means what? I'll be saying, I'm not feeling good, I'm tired because I've taken class for a long time. No, I'm not taking my food properly, I'm not good. Externally means what? I'm having headache, right? The room is very hot, see, it makes me feel very suffocated. That's all external physiological context. Yes, you can note down. This will also comes in terms of barrier when you communicate. So when you communicate, at last we will see, when I communicate, these are all the physiological barriers. When I'm not feeling good, right, physiologically, I'm not able to concentrate properly. When I'm not physically well, I'm not able to concentrate properly. When I'm not psychologically well, I'm not able to concentrate clearly. When it is semantic means what? Semantic, I've told you many a times. Semantic means meaning. Semantic means meaning. I misunderstand the things. If I'm telling in one sense, the receiver understands in another sense. What will happen? The semantically he understood that the meaning he understood in a wrong way. That affects the communication. Misunderstanding will come, fight will come, everything, ego will come, everything will come. Yes, clear, right? Then yeah, I think he understood the physical context, physiological, psychological, semantic, all with respect to this Berlon's transactional model. Yes, right. So internal means internal process things. Physiologically, external means outside the temperature is very hot, the room is not making me suffocating, right? That's all external physiological responses. And psychological context means what? How the mind works, how the mind works, my emotional state, and I'm very disturbed now. I don't know why. Then some thoughts are being coming and going, so I'm not able to concentrate well. Right? Your children may be shouting at when you're listening to the class. What will be happening? You'll not be able to understand it very properly. Then you'll be disturbed. Psychologically, you'll be disturbed. Okay, so you just shut down the system and just move away. That's a psychological context. Semantic context means I am delivering some content to you. What will happen? Few things you will misunderstood. The words, the meanings, the interpretation of those words will be in a wrong, taken in a wrong way. So he understands different meaning. Not wrong, it taken a different meaning. So that changes the whole context, right? So that someone's language, size of vocabulary, effective use of grammar. That's create a semantic context. And in general, so communication is complex, continuous, and dynamic. Okay, it is complex, continuous, and it is dynamic. Very good. Clear learners? Moving to the next one. Quick. This is Dane's call. Just note down these 6 steps of communication. It has not been yet asked, but the year has been asked. 6 steps of communication. Okay. Yes. So Shannon Weaver, you have to remember the linear, interactive, transactional models. Okay. Linear, interactive, and transactional models. Dane's cone is nothing but what? It is just keep on going. It's just going like a spiral, right? And that's we call this what? A dense helical model of communication. Okay. Yes, I gave you an example of child, right? Earlier I learned something, I apply when I grow, and again I learn something, and then I apply, again I grow, again I apply. It just goes on till till my last, and that we call Dane's helical call of convince them. Monica, convince them. I hope you are very. It's very clear with the models of communication, right, learners? Yes, right. Okay, I'll be taking the class till 12:50 communication, and then I have to switch to what is that? Logical reasoning. Here we'll go with one question. Okay, we'll go with one question and then we'll start. I'll give you one question so that you'll be able to get clear that whether we have understood the concept or not. Quick, quick. We have discussed so many questions regarding communication is there on the playlist. You can check those ones. Today we are doing quick revision. That's why I'm giving very questions, right? Answer this question, learners. Quick. Yes. 30. Don't take too much of time. It's very good. Quick. Yes. Quick, quick. Very good. Very good. Very good. Very easy question. Very easy question. Getting answers. 444. Very good. Very good. Source, receiver, message, channel. What is the source? The set or a person who uh, provides verbal or non-verbal cues. Receiver, who interprets the message. Very good. Message means a set of verbal nouns from the source. Channel, to convey the message. Very good. Option 4 is the right answer. Very good. Very good. Very good. Next question. What are the key features of transactional model of communication? Transactional model. Just now I told you, right? Transaction. It is a two or more parties interacting to each other to make the communication better. What will be the key features of transactional models of communication? Quick. Very good. Quick, quick, quick. Kindly remember the transactional model of communication diagram. The diagram. Key features. You can apply the elimination technique. I have told you many a times. First, eliminate which one will not come. Try to eliminate which one will not come. Monica, be clear. Don't look at others' answers. Look at your answer and your intuition, what says. Don't look at other people's intuition. Your mind will say something, right? Go with that one. Transactional model means what? Transaction model. Yes. Yes, transaction will be there. Transactional model. I transact something, he receives, gives back. The right answer for this question is what? Option 2. See, absence of noise will not, is not a key feature. There will be a noise. So eliminate A. 1 and 4 will be eliminated. Take extensively used in interpersonal. Yes, transactional means what? What we are doing, right? I'm transacting my knowledge to you. You are, if we speak in person, right? In person, if we do something, if we talk something, right? What we'll be doing, we'll be transacting our knowledges. I'll be telling what I know, you'll be telling what you know, and through which there will be a kind of an exchange between these parties, right? Yes or no? So it's extensively used in interpersonal communication. How you eliminate B? In exam hall, I will not be there, right? Please try to get it very clearly. Again, I'll tell you these models very clearly. Understand? Linear model, we have Aristotle model. It is linear. Source, sender. I mean, sender, receiver. That's all. No feedback is there. Listen to me very carefully these 2 minutes. Sender will be there, receiver will be there. I'll be sending you some message based on some occasion. That will create an effect on the side of the receiver end. That's we call Aristotle model. Laswell model means what? Laswell model means it is who says, what's the message, which channel, to whom, and with what effect. That's been also found in the year 1948. Right? Linear means it will be definitely a one way, a direct approach to understand how two parties meet together. That's all. That's what this interact mean. This interact mean. Okay. Yes. Next, there is no feedback. There is no feedback in linear model. And then comes Shannon Weaver and Berlo SMCR model. See, in this model also there is no feedback. This is linear. Okay, the sender, transmitter, channel, receiver, and destination. Yes, this is all also a one-way direct approach of things. And next comes Berlo SMCR, sender, messenger, channel, and receiver will be there. You have to know all these things. The source and the receiver should have that skill set to understand and receive and the things. It's called the source. An interactive model. What is the difference between interactive and transaction? I have told you. Interactive model of communication is a two-way communication of ideas, messages, and information. It involves an active exchange between two or more parties made to sender as the receiver as the sender. Okay, see, I have given here. It is the exchange between multiple parties, inviting them to work together to form solution. It is to be involves dialogue and for mutual understanding. Here in transaction, we'll be having a type of understanding. Okay, here we'll be having a type of understanding will be happen in transactional model of communication. Please don't get confused. Okay, you just understand the what is that names. Interactive model. What all will come under interactive model? Osgood, Wilbur, Scrum solution model. You can go back to the marathon session on communication, and there also we have discussed a PYQs. Please do. There are many things being discussed there. And Wilbur Scrams models means what? Cyclic in nature. Sender, receiver, message. Sender, message, receiver. Okay, that will be cyclic in nature and their field of experience you have to understand. Right, very good, clear. Clear, learners? And transactional model, I have told you just now. I just asked all the stories being mistake, right? It happens between the interpersonal. Clear, learners? Yes, moving to the next topic. Very important, very important. Keep your ears very sharp. I'll be telling you the keywords for all the types of communications. Please keep your ears and your pens very sharp. I'll be giving you all the keywords with these types of communication. Clear, learners? Yes. What do you mean by interpersonal communication? Interpersonal communication between two people. Intraperson, within myself. Transpersonal, beyond spirit. Yes. Group communication. I'll be having my friends group of 5 people sitting together and chatting, or my colleagues of 5 people sitting together and planning for some decision. Okay, small group of people talking to each other. Okay, it's called group. Mass communication, larger audience. Large audience. What do you mean by large audience? They will be of heterogeneous. Heterogeneous means they will not belong to a same group. They'll be of different age, different caste, different race, different countries, different places. All will be different, and that we call it as heterogeneous. Okay. Transpersonal, beyond the spirit, beyond the spirit. Okay, beyond spirit. Transpersonal, beyond spirit. Talking to nature, talking to a spiritual, interacting with the apart from a sense, we do something, right? It's called transpersonal. Yes, clear? Transpersonal, very important communication. Sometimes we get question also. Transpersonal communication, right? In psychology, that's a separate part, transpersonal psychology. Yes, it's of a higher power. Higher power. You understand, learners? All are asking question about transpersonal, a power which is something of more the belief system. If you talk about meditation, not every people will accept. Yes or no? Not all every people will accept about meditation, mindfulness, and all, right. They will not accept. And the prayers that we do, the rituals that we do, people will not. All people will not accept. Why? They will not. Once I still remember, we went for a went to our temple for some rituals, okay. And one old man was talking to a kid. It was a temple, right? They are using their mobile phones, and he was telling, "Don't use your mobile phones inside temple." He was telling, and he also explained in a clear way, right? The mobile phones work. How it is working? He asked. It is working by means of internet, right? Okay, how we get internet? We get internet by means of network connection. How will we get that internet connection? We will be able to visualize? No, right? We are not able to visualizing things, but the frequency comes, frequency. Understand? Frequency. Now my internet has been working because of the frequency. It has been working at the speed of what? 2000 kbps per second. You understand? 2000 kilobits per second it has been working. If the frequency is being less, means what will happen? Whatever I am talking here will not be there telecasted on that YouTube. It be streamed on that YouTube. Right or wrong? Will I be able to see that one? No, right? That boy said no. Then the same thing, we are in the temple, we have some kind of a vibration and frequency there that we have only to feel, we cannot see. That is the transpersonal. We have to feel that spirit. We have to feel that power, right? That is what that old man talks about, this transpersonal power. It's a transpersonal communication. So when we go and sit and pray to God, right, when we do meditation, we will be feeling some kind of a spirit and vibration felt inside us. Yes, exactly. And that's more beyond our sense, right? It is beyond our body and mind. That's called beyond our body and mind, something is happening, right? And that kind of communication we call transpersonal communication. I hope you would have understood that what a old man comes to say. He talks about that spirit, the frequency, the vibration, the wavelength, all those things. The prayers that we do have a kind of a vibration. It's all beyond our mind. Yes, very good, clear. So that's what the transpersonal. Clear, learners? Learners, clear? Please let me know. Yes. So next I move to group communication. So small group of people will be there sitting together and doing the discussion. Mass communication means a large audience, heterogeneous set of people will be sitting and listening to our things, right? That's we call this mass communication. What do you mean verbal communication? Verbal communication, which all we do through words, through my words, through my writings. Yes, learners. And that we call it as what? Verbal communication. What do you mean non-verbal communication? Through my expression, through my body language, through my gestures, through my voice, whatever I'll communicate to you, that is my non-verbal communication. The students who are following me will know that whenever you do wrong answers, you know what reaction I give. Through my expression, you can understand how I feel, right? So I communicating to you that I'm not okay with your answer, right? So that's called non-verbal communication. What is my formal communication? So whenever I go for apply for an certificate from a higher bodies, right? Certificate, any kind of certificate like your a community certificate. As now this net exams comes, right, everyone was been talking about community certificate. So when you want to apply for community certificate, what we have to do, you have to go apply online, have to approach the VAO and then the revenue revenue officer and the deputy tahsildar and the tahsildar. So that hierarchy, right? So that way of doing communication is called formal communication. You understand? And what do you mean by, and then we'll be getting the certificate. Okay, how will you get that certificate immediately, instantly? You can say some contradictory answers. I don't want that contradictory answers. Be very clear. When I do formal way of communicating things, it will take time to publish because it has to go through the tables and you have to get clear. So it takes time, but it will be very transparent, right? In which table it was, we can check it out in online, right? That is what we call formal communication. Informal communication means what? Informal communication means what? But that what we do with our friends, right? It's called informal communications. And internal communication means what? Very very important. What do you mean by internal communication? I'm working, you are all working in an organization, okay? You're all working in an organization, and the organization wish to conduct a program. Okay, conduct a program. and that program is only meant for that organization. What you'll be doing, you'll be circulating the circular to all the members of that particular organization, and this way of communicating things is called internal communication. But another case, if I want to publish it, the content to other organization also. So what I'll do, this organization will send the invitations to all other organizations like organization 1, organization 2, organization 3, it will send. And this type of communication is called external communication. Yes, clear? This type of things we call external communication. Clear with the communication types? Very clear. Interpersonal, between two. Intrapersonal, within myself. Transpersonal, beyond the spirit. Group communication, a set of a small group of people, right? Some 7 or 8 or 10. Group discussion we used to say, right? Group discussion. Group discussion will be of how many people? 7 to 8 people, 10 people will be there. So group discussion is an example of group communication. Mass communication, large audience, heterogeneous. Verbal communication, words and writings. Non-verbal, my expression, body language, gesture and voice. Formal, getting the community certificate from the office, Tahsildar office. Informal communication, talking with my friend, talking things, oral informal communication. Internal communication, organization sending the programs to all the members of that particular organization. Okay, then we call internal communication. External means that organization sends to some other organization outside so that they can also participate it. That is external communication. Clear, learners? Yes or no? Yes. Yes. Informal communication is also called as grapevine. Grapevine is nothing but what? Grapevine, it can be of informal way of communication. Gossips can be there. Types of informal communication has this. Right, move to the next one. See, this is what I've given here. Interpersonal, intrapersonal, small group, public communication, mass communication. So doing these mass, right, it being telecasted to many people. This mass communication has some meaning, right, that we do through digital media also has one meaning, and it also has a meaning of reaching a large number of people, right? Mass communication. And right, and I've told you right, of all these communication, see, verbal communication, we used to talk, verbal, we used to talk, intrapersonal, talk to myself. Small group communication, see, the coach is talking to these boys. Public communication, the speaker is talking to all the audience. The mass communication, they are taking the thing and they're telecasting on the channel. Yes. Other two, yes. Gossip is informal communication. Yes. We will have the PYQs, don't worry. Next comes non-verbal communication. Non-verbal communication means what? Non-verbal communication means what? Whatever we do, very, very important. Whatever we do through our eye contact, smile, body language, gesture. Very important slide. Please kindly note down. As I give for that thing, right? This is for the non-verbal communication. In 2023, we are getting questions from this non-verbal communication. Sure, short one question will come. All the years we have questions. All the years we have questions from this topic. We have to be very clear with these words enough. When you are clear with these words and their meaning, it is more than enough. Yes, clear, learners? Is it visible? Yes, very good. So I'll be just going as quickly. This I've already told you in the marathon session also. Now also I want to tell you appearance. Appearance means what? My physical appearance. The way I dress, the way I present myself, the way I do my hairstyle, all these things it calls as what? The dress I wear, it's called appearance. This communicates something. When I go for a formal function, I used to wear some dress. When I go for a family function, I wear some dress. When I go for a party, I used to wear some dress. Yes, paralinguistics. Paralinguistics means all with respect to sound. All with respect to a sound. Sound means your pitch, your tone, your volume, all these things called paralinguistics. Don't forget, we have a questions many a time asked. Bodily movement. How I use this body when you go in bus, when somebody comes near, we used to move our body like this, right? This bodily movement will communicate something to people. Gesture. How I use my hands, gesture. Posture, how I sit is posture. How I sit when I was in the classroom, how I sit when there is a elderly people from a family come, it's a posture. And how we sit in a theater, how we sit in a while doing studying, all these things called posture. Facial expression, our emotion, happy, angry, sad, everything we call it as what? Facial expression. And then next comes eye contact. It's called oculics. See all these five, the four: facial, posture, gesture, and bodily movement. These called as kinesthetics. This is called as what? Kinesthetics. Bodily movement is called kinesthetics. So the bodily movement conveys you many things, right? It also communicates. My bodily movement also communicates to you. Eye contact means oculics, OCULESACS. Haptics means what? A touch, hold, right? By means of touching, I communicate. If someone is very sad, what you will do? You will just go and hold their hands and you will tell you, don't worry, I'm here for you. Why you worry? That's called haptics, right? When I talk to a people, I used to contact through our eyes. That is the first way of connecting people. And then when I want to convey something, I used to give their handshake, or by means of handshake, by means of signs, right? It's called haptics. And then proximity means the distance that we have with the people, that is proximity. Chronemics means what? With respect to time. There are some people who will be strict to the time. Okay, he'll be coming on time means on time. On time means on time. Okay, that time also tells you something. Is it some homes, if 8 o'clock comes means they'll be saying it is a dinner time. At some homes, I'm telling you. Okay, some homes, if 8 o'clock comes means it's a time for having your breakfast. It's a time for having your dinner. Okay, that's what it's called. The time speaks. Time also communicates something. Artifacts means what? The things that we wear communicate something. They belong to this area people and all these things. Environment means what? Environment means the area which we live also communicates something. So these are all the different types of non-verbal communication. I hope clear, learners, right? Right? I'll be giving you one PYQ from non-verbal communications. Let me check how many of you are able to understand. Yes. Try to answer this question. So along with this, we'll be having some more points also in this question. That's why I'm giving you this question. 1 minute, 1 minute. Quick. Answer this question quick. Lateral, haptics, semantics, semiotics. Quick, quick, quick. Proximity means, Neha, it's distance. I talk to my daughter very closely, right? My family members, I'll be interacting with a very close distance. I'll be sitting near them. I'll be sitting with my friend means I'll be sitting on their lap, right? That is proximity. With everyone will not used to interact in that way, right? With everyone will not interact in that way. Yes or no? Yes, that's the thing. Clear? Yes, very good, very good, very good, very good. Very good. Everyone, right answer. Haptics, we can identify its touch. Semantic means with meanings. Semiotics means it with signs. Lateral communication means equal. Lateral communication. Okay, of same thing. Very good. Super. The right answer for this question is option number 1. When it talks about the kinesthetics, again, I'm telling this talks about your body movement, the body movement kinestics, right? Haptics means it talks about the touch. Don't forget, many a times it has been asked. And paralinguistics, most important. Paralinguistics has been asked most many a times. Paralinguistics, it means with respect to your sound. With respect to your sound, yes, very clear. Next comes the types of communication. I'll just move very fast because I have to complete the logical reasoning also. Vertical, horizontal, diagonal, and vertical, horizontal, diagonal, and we have one more communication. Vertical. Okay. Under vertical, we have upward and we have downward. Yes. Okay. What in my vertical communication? This angle, right? Vertical means this one. Vertical means this one. These two are said to be vertical communication. Horizontal means this one. Okay, this one, this way. Diagonal means this way. See, there is a managing director. There are three directors. When all these three directors talk to each other, that we call it as what? Horizontal communication. When all the three directors talk to each other, it is diagonal communication. When this director 3 talk to these 3 managers, is called what? Downward communication. When these manager talk to this director, means it's called upward communication. Okay, whenever a circular is being given, right? Whenever a circular is being given from the managing directors, okay, from the MD to all the employees, what kind of communication it is? What kind of communication it is? When a circular is being communicated to all people, what kind of communication it is? Yes, what kind of communication it is? A circular is being designed, okay, and is being circulated to all the people of that institution. What kind of communication it is? Quick learners. A circular circulated to all the employees. What kind of communication it is? Very good, very good. The MD is giving to all. Very good. Downward communication. Very good, very good. It's a downward communication, right? Very good. Good. It also comes under internal. When it comes under internal, very good. Somebody is also telling internal communication. Very good. It is also internal communication. When there are difference, right? The context is different. If the option is given both, means we have to think. But if anyone internal or downward is being given, means what? We have to think. Downward communication, the managing director circulates. See the word? Circulates to all the people, and then we call it as what communication? Yes. Within an organization, if the word is there, means then we say it's an internal communication. Okay. The managing director gives a circular to his subordinates, means then we call it a downward communication. Be clear with the words. Right? The circular is being given, circulated among, means what? It is internal. It is being given to the manager, means what? It is a downward communication. Have a very clear idea. And next comes horizontal communication. What in horizontal communication? This is horizontal. Okay. Director 1, director 2, director 3 talks to each other. Very good. Diagonal means what? This manager 3 talks to this director 2, who is not having direct authority. Not having direct authority. Let's call it as, it's called diagonal communication. Yes. Very good. Very good. Super. Good. Not having direct authority. It's called as what? Diagonal communication. Okay. Yes, very good. Lateral communication means the same level. Same level. Lateral communication which happens between the same level. They'll be of the same level, and that's called as the lateral communication. Okay. Lateral communicating is between department heads, between same level of people, we call lateral communication. Yes, clear? Clear? Yes. So from superiors to subordinates is downward. From subordinates to superior, it is upward. Clear, Anas? That's all. And next comes the I have another question for you. 1 minute. I'll give that question. Try to solve. With that, we'll go with another one. Let me check how many of you give right answer for this question. Yes. With this, I have to stop so that we'll be going. Give me answer for this question. Yes. Identify the current sequence of categories of grapevine communication. Grapevine means what? Informal communication. Informal communication. What do you mean by informal communication? Tell me the hierarchy orders. Quick. This we have done in our marathon session. I remember. This we have done in our marathon session. I remember well. Yes, let me check how many of you tell me right answer. Intercultural next comes. Lateral and horizontal sometimes say synonymically the same. Synonymically they are same. Yes. Okay, the right answer for this question is option number C. Very good. Many of them have told option number C. The correct sequence of what? The grapevine communication. Single strand communication, gossip communication, probability communication, cluster communication. Yes, this is the sequence of the grapevine communication or informal. What do you mean by single strand communication? Single strand communication. Single strand communication means one person, A person will pass to B will pass to C will pass to D. Like that it will be just go on, right? And that we call it a single strand communication. Gossip means what? It will be just by means of interconnection. It goes like something like that. That is gossip communication. Okay. Gossip chain. And next comes the probability chain. What do you mean by probability chain? Probability chain means what? A will be telling to one person. Okay. And then what happens? C will be telling to another person. Okay. One person will share information among the ones who believe very most. I'll be believing that person. To them, I'll be telling. And that person will believe someone and he'll be sharing to the another person. So that will be just goes on, right? Cluster is like netlight. It is effective, very effective to spread. Just like that, it will be spread. Okay, right? These are the types of informal communication. Clear, learners? Yes. Do you like the session? Yes, hope like the session. Those who are new to this channel, please do subscribe for more videos that we are doing on uh, paper 1, right? Yes. Next one, next one. So next comes the mass communication. What do you mean mass communication? Okay, wait. It's the process of imparting. So far we have seen the types: verbal, non-verbal, interpersonal, intrapersonal. Group communication means within a small group, right? Mass communication means now we are going to see mass communication. It's a process of imparting, exchanging information through a mass media to a large population segment. It's called what? Mass population. Okay, right. Print media means what? Newspaper, magazines, book, novels, comics, journals, and all called print media. Broadcast media means what? Films, television, radio are called as broadcast media. Outdoor and transit media means what? Billboards, hoardings there on the junctions and viewpoints and all. We'll be having a very billboard, some posters like, right, so that they will communicate something to the mass number of people will be viewing that. That is outdoor or transmit media: banners, posters, boardings, and billboards. And digital media or new media are nothing but a social media, video platforms, websites, applications, mobile applications, e-books, podcast, online radio. Podcast means what? Podcast means what? Podcast. Podcast means what? Yes. ಅಲ್ಲೇ ಊಟ ಮಾಡಿ. 1 minute, learners. 1 minute. Okay, so podcast means audio, right? Audio. Yes. Satya, digital board. Right, online digital notice board. Yes, digital notice board, or we like on transit media. Yes, audio files and all called podcast, right? It's all about the mass communication, right? And then very important, barriers of communication. I have to go to the barriers of communication. So far clear, learners? Clear? Clear? Yes. What do you mean by intercultural communication? And I'll just telling you the terms that we use in intercultural communication. Okay. What do you mean by interculture? He or she belongs to one culture. He belongs to one culture. He belongs to one culture. Each person belongs to one culture. Right. So when we communicate with each other, what will happen? Understand the storyline very clearly. Okay. So when people are communicating from different cultures, what will happen? There are many things comes into mind, like race, religion, ethnicity. Please understand the terms. Very generic, we will understand what has been given there. Okay. Please try to understand the terms very generically so that we can able to understand the concept. Okay. Yes. And we have gender, sexual discrimination. So many things are there with respect to intercultural communication. With respect to gender itself, it starts. With respect to sexual discrimination, it starts. With respect to ethnicity, it starts. With respect to race, religion. What happens in case it creates prejudice? When I communicate, I will assume myself this people will this only because he is from this place, so he'll be like that only. I will be judgmenting that people. And that concept we called as what? Prejudice. Sorry, right? So we'll be having a false opinion about those people, and I'll be thinking of wrong about the thing, right? That too with respect to racial prejudice. Okay, racial prejudice. And what we will do, we'll be doing discrimination out of this one. Discrimination happens. Okay, misunderstandings will be done. These are the negative side. Okay, all these because of what? The stereotypes that we have in our mind. These people coming from this area, they'll be like that one. Without knowing anything, we'll be just judgmental. It's called the prejudice. Please understand the meaning of the word prejudice. This will be most widely used in communication. Discrimination, why we do discrimination is from this place. So we should not be accepted, discriminate them. We'll be misunderstanding what he means. Because of its actions, we are misunderstand. Right? So these are all. Once I remember well, when in our there was an open competition in an institution, okay, that boys from some other culture place, he was from another culture. Actually, what that person is doing is what, right? He was putting crossed legs on stage, right? The attitude, it was very different, but for their culture, it is okay. But here in this culture, it is not accepted. Understood, right? For their culture, putting crossed legs, showing attitude, behaving very superior, not superior, right? That cross legs makes people very look awkward. Okay, but here it is not like that, because sitting all the superiors of that institutions there, that boy looking where that person is looking very odd out. What happens is it makes the intercultural communication actually. That was a kind of a misunderstanding. But actually, the person was not like that, maybe. Okay, but for their culture, it was not like that. But here, cross legs is of kind of a disrespect. We can say we are not putting legs on their head, we are putting legs on our leg only, we can say. But for some culture, cross legs is not permitted. Yes or no? Putting cross legs. That is also a communicating something kind of a disrespect. Yes or no? Yes. That we call it as what? Intercultural communication. Learners, are you there? Yes. Yes. Understand the concepts? And here we have a keyword called, not keyword, we have a term called stereotypes. What do you mean by stereotype? There is a term called stereotypes. What do you mean by stereotypes? In all the topics, we have to remember some keywords. Okay. In communication, what do you mean by stereotype? Say example, I come from this place. I have some kind of a color, right? Some kind of a language, some kind of a culture. All these things collectively we call, it has been representation that we call stereotype. Yes, exactly right, Komati. That we call stereotype. Okay, so this is all about the cultural communication. Clear, learners? Yes. Next, I move to barriers. Very, very important. Semantic barriers, psychological barriers, organizational barrier, and personal barrier. Semantic barriers means what? Whenever I misunderstand things, it's all about the understanding. It's all about the understanding things. Symbols with different meanings, right? And faulty translation, unclarified assumptions, technical jargons, very, very important. Technical jargons means technical words when I use, the layperson will not be able to understand, and that we call it as what? Semantic barriers. Body language and gesture decoding. It means what? Sometimes, as I told you, right, cross leg, right? That boy, the cross leg shows a different understanding that that boy, that person is disrespectful, that person is disrespectful, so then misunderstood. And psychological barriers, what I told you, I'm not mentally feeling well, I'm not trusting that person, right? I was not able to recollect things. These are all psychological barriers. Recollecting, ma'am, you can ask me, ma'am, how loss of poor retention can be a psychological. Yes, exactly, it's a psychological barrier. If you're not able to remember things, right, that is also a poor retention is there. You are not able to store it in your memory. It is also psychological barrier. Lack of attention, if you are not able to attend it very carefully, it's a lack of attention. Premature evaluation, that is also a Um, Psychological barrier, organizational barrier, right? I was not able to talk to a person because I'm scared of talking to that person, or that person is not approachable. That is also a organizational barrier when I do communication. This happens in an institution. This organizational barrier used to happen in an institution, right? That policy may be very hard to interact with people, right? The rules and regulations will not be very flexible. There will be some kind of an indifference between people. These are all the barriers of making communication. In some institution, we are scared of talking to our superiors, right? Because they will not be approachable to talk. Or this person may have a barrier of talking to that person. This is what we call it as the organizational barrier. Personal barriers means what? I've told you, right? Personal barrier. I'll be having a fear. I'm not having confidence. I'm not having the strength to talk to that people. These are all called as the physical barriers. Okay. Now I'll give you some questions from barriers. Try to attempt. Let me check how many of you give me right answers for the questions. Let's try to answer this question. The question for you here. Which of the following are the barriers to understand the communicated messages? So the following barriers to understand the communicative messages. Quick. Quick. Yes. Waiting for the answers. Do it quick. We will go to the next topic. Yes. I'm getting mixture answer for this question. The right option answer is option number 2. See, when I communicate something to people, right, what will be the main barrier? The jargon. I told you, right, jargon means using technical words. When I use technical words, that will be a barrier to me, right? When I use prejudgment, that's now I told you, right, that is prejudice. What I'll do is I'll just imagine that this will be the thing. That is prejudgment, right? And then cultural background. That's also told you, right? Cultural background has a major impact on communication, learning, everything. It's a barrier. Okay, very good, clear. Okay, all you want to break. Okay, yes. No worries. I'll be just doing some PYQs only. I'll be starting the logical reasoning. Shall we have a continuous session or shall we have it in the evening? Will you able to follow me or learners? Let me know. Shall we have it as a continuous session now? We have logical reasoning to complete. Okay. Monica, you can take your break and come. No problem. We'll do. Okay, I'll give you 2 minutes break for all. Okay, I'll give you 2 minutes break. Just go and have some water. Yes, I'll continue. I'm just going to take logical reasoning. They chase to 2 minutes break and come back and join. 2 minutes break. I hope now clear with communication. Very, very important concepts. Sure, short questions will come these areas. And yes, today you have 3 p.m. class. Oh, okay. Okay. Okay, then just have 2 minutes. I'll start the logical reasoning. Okay, okay, I'll continue. Don't worry. I'll take the logical reasoning, don't worry. You can take your break for 2 minutes, okay? Take 2 minutes break. Take 2 minutes break. Sharp 1:20, we'll start. I'll wait. I have no problem. I have no problem. No problem at all. We'll start at 1:20. Thank you. Okay, shall we start? Yes. Yes. Now let me start second session, logical reasoning. Yes, shall we start? I just directly get into the concept. Raining here. Okay, okay, okay. Very, very important. The part, sorry, not part. The question being asked very regularly is from this square of opposition. Yes, I hope you all know this is very, very important questions being asked. At least that. Have you all joined? Have you all joined? Yes. Okay. Before getting into the question, try to solve this one. Quick, try to solve this one. With this, I'll start. Quick. A, E, I. Yes. Very good. Come on, quick, quick. For those who are new to this square of opposition, I'll be telling you very clearly so that you can easily answer. In examination, when this question comes, what we have to do is simply write this AEIO. Okay. Simply write AEIO. And what are all these AEIO? These are nothing but we call proposition. Okay. Proposition means what? Which we has a subject and it has a predicate. When we talk something, every thing that we talk will have a subject and a predicate. Okay. And it should have a logic. And that it has been categorized as A type, E type, I type, and O type. And what is this A type? This A type sentence we call it as universal positive statement. Okay. E type statement is called as universal negative statement. I type, this is called as particular positive statement. What is this O type? This is called it as particular negative statement. This is called AEIO. Okay, ma'am, clear. So how you can divide? You can divide like this, and you can say these two statements are said to be positive statements. These two are said to be positive. This angle is positive, and this angle we call it as negative statement. And we go on the top, these two statements are called it as universal statement, and these two statements in the bottom are called particular statement. Why, ma'am, particular? Here I used to say all apples are red. And here I used to say all apples, sorry, no apples. We used to say no apples are red. No apples are red. Here I used to say some apples are red. Some apples are red. Here I used to say some apples are not red. See here, all comes here. All apples are red. It is a positive universal statement. Here comes no, so means negative. No apples are red means no apple is red in that group. That means universal. Everything I am telling is no. So it is universal negative. Some apples, I am talking about something. So that is particular. Are red, I am talking in positive way, it's positive. Some apples are not red. It means what? Some apples are not red means it is particular negative statement. Yes, right. This we have to understand. And second one, what we have to understand is whenever I say this one, you can understand with the diagram. All apples are red. You can draw like this also. All apples are red. This is for A type statement. What is about for E type statement? No apples are red. This is how we can represent E types. No apples are red. How to represent I type sentences? Some apples are. Okay. Some apples are red. And what about O type sentences? There are some apples which are not red. This is how we can interpret it with respect to Venn diagrams. Okay, right, clear. And ma'am, how to find out these types of sentence like contrary, contradiction, subcontrary, subaltern? How to identify, ma'am? Very simple. If I say, right, this is A type and this is E type. If I say these two statements, all apples are red, no apples are red. Okay, can these both be true together? Can these two sentences be true together? I'm telling all apples are red. At the same time, I'm telling no apples are red. Can these two statements be true together? Definitely not. Here I'm telling all the apples are red, but here I'm telling no apples are red. No logic, right? See, right? Here there are apples inside red, but here all apples are not red. So this statement we call it as what? This we call it as what? Contrary. A type and E type sentences are contrary and this cannot be true. And very easy to remember is what? This A type sentences and O type sentence in E type and I type. How, ma'am? See, take this one. If I say no apples are red and I'm selling some apples are red, will it be true together? If it is for true means definitely this should be false. If it is true means this it will be false, and that we call it as contradictory. Which statements will be contradictory? E type statement, I type statement will be contradictory. A type statement and O type statement will be contradictory. Clear? Yes, if one is true, other will be false. If one is false, other will be true. Clear? Yes, very good. Next comes subcontrary. What do you mean subcontrary? That happens at the bottom. That happens at the bottom. These two statements, right? I and O. I and O. How, ma'am? I'm telling some apples are red. And again, I'm telling some apples are not red. Okay. These two statements cannot be false together. Cannot be false together. It can be true, right? Sometimes telling some apples are red. So at that time, this place can be there. No, this can be true, right? So they cannot be false together, and that is subcontrary, I type and O type. Next comes subaltern. What means subaltern means what? From top to bottom, from A to I and E to O. When it comes from top to bottom, right? And this statement we call subaltern. Okay, subaltern. Take here. I'm telling all apples are good. All apples are red. And here I'm telling no apples are red. Here I'm telling some apples are red. Apples red. Okay, I'm telling in this way. If I'm telling all apples are red means all apples are red means definitely some apples are red will be there inside the thing. Okay, this area. Okay, so this will be true. There are some apples are red, right? This will be red, right? So this will be true. When it is true, this will also be true. But when it is false, we cannot determine whether it is true or false. It's what undetermined. Similarly, when this from down to bottom, when you take this is false, definitely this will also be false. If you remember these two things, here also the place is same. Top to bottom, true means true. From bottom to up, it is false means false. Okay, both same. But when it is false there from top, here it is be undetermined. When here it is true, this is undetermined. How, ma'am? Some apples are red, I'm telling. I cannot say when all apples should be red. Okay, so that is undetermined. That is undetermined. So for these two things, the same. So when you understand this whole diagram, then everything will be easy for you. Yes. O side false. O side false. Yes, if it is false means upward false. See here. If it is false means upward false. Yes, upward it is false. Yes, false to false. If it is true means it is undetermined. If it is true means upward it is undetermined. You can remember this way. From top to bottom, if it is true means definitely it will be true. It will be true. First point. If it is false means from bottom we can say. If it is false from the bottom towards up also it will be false. Next come undetermined. We have undetermined here. Right? When this will be undetermined? When this is true. Okay. When this will be undetermined? When it is said to be false. Clear? Very good. So this is how we can remember this contrary, contradictory so that we can easily do this kind of problems. I'll give you one problem to solve and then I'll move to the next concept. I have to take it very quick. Hence you have class at 3:30. I have 3 o'clock, right? 3 or 3:30? We'll take as early as possible. Do this question quick. If some pink flowers are pink is false. No girls are red birds is true. Some boys are not tall. All chocolates are sweet is true. Quick. Yes, Gomati, I'll give. I'll give. I'll try to complete by 2:30, okay? By 2:30, I'll try to complete because you need half an hour break, right? To eat food, to take rest. I'll give you one question with undetermined. Yes, very good. Quick. Yes. If some flowers are pink is said to be false. So A, E, I and O. If this statement is said to be false, you have to find out this one and this one. Right? Very good, very good. If E statement is said to be false, sorry, I. If some flowers are pink is said to be false. Some flowers are pink said to be false. This is said to be false. Then what about this one, and this one we have to see. Okay. I is false. If I is false, yes, I is also false. O is true. Right? We have said it cannot be true together. It cannot be true together, but false is not been said. Okay, we can hold it. If I is false, what about A? If it is false, definitely this will also be false. Only one option with that I is false. So that right, we can mark this one. And if it is false, this is true. That is called as what? Contradictory. That is called as what? Contradictory. Yes, it is called as contradictory. Yes, very good, very good. Okay, we can have this one. A to 2. What is B? If no girls or birds is true. If it is true, if this statement is true, what they have given? If this is true, this I will be false. And if this is true, this O will be true. Okay. Right answer for this question is option number 1. option number 1. How many of them are telling option number 3? See, if E is said to be false, if this I statement is false, how E can be false? This should be true. If some flowers are pink is said to be a I-type sentence. If this I is said to be false, E should be true. So definitely this 3 will not come. Okay, check for 3. A3. If I-type sentences is false, I-type sentence is true is given. So definitely this also will not come. Okay. Yes, check for B. If what type of sentence it is? This is E-type sentences. If E-type sentences is true, they have given options with 1 and 3. What is 1? I is false. Right? What is 3? I is true. If E-type sentences is said to be true, right? What will be the I? I should be false. Okay, clear? Yes, this will definitely will not come. Telling about themselves. Yes, right answer is option number 1. Clear, learners? Moving to the next question with undetermined. Moving to the question with the example of undetermined. So see, I'm taking this class for learners who are just very, what to say, who wants to learn this topic, and also for the quick revision also. I'm giving you the basic concept so that it will be very understood. Do not get confused. Very good. Quick. If some writers, women are writers, is said to be true. A, E. This statement is I-type statement. The given statement is I-type statement. Yes. This I-type statement is true means which of the following are correct? They are asking you. If that I-type statement is true means which of the following are right? We have to find out. If it is true means you have to find whether there is a E-type sentence. Check for E-type. Check for E-type. Yes, see, there is a E-type sentences. So no women are writers is said to be false. So definitely C will be there. You can eliminate these two options. You have to check with B and you have to check with D. What is B? All women writers are true. If this is true, right? If this is true, yes, very good. It's very good. Good. See, if this is I-type sentence, right? This I-type sentence is said to be true. Which one will come? Very good, very good. It is 4. Option D. Very good. If this is said to be true, what about this O-type sentence? This is undetermined. We cannot determine, right? Some women are writers like this. I'm telling there are some who are writers. This area will come. There are some women who are writers. Okay, I'm telling this as said to be true. At that time, I cannot say, right? Some women are not writers. Yes. Clear? Yes. Exactly right. And if this statement is said to be true, right? From downwards, if this is said to be true, here I cannot determine. See, they have written is true. This will not come. Clear? Clear, learners? That's all about this undetermined determined. So definitely you'll be getting from square of opposition. You have to know about AEIO sentences, contrary, subcontrary, subaltern, and contradictory, and also with the types. And this kind of questions may be asked. Simply try to draw and practice this diagram. Very, very simple. Right? This contradictory, very easy. Contrary also, right? Only when you understand this diagram, try to practice this diagram. This will be very useful to clear this question. Definitely you'll be getting some question from you. 2 marks confirm. Right? Yes, clear. Next. Next one is, as I told, right? AEIO. I'll try to complete by 2:20. Okay, so that we have some break. Right? AEIO. What do you mean that AEIO? I told you, right? It is universal, particular, and here comes quantity. Whenever I say universal, particular, this talks about the quantity. Whenever I say positive and negative, and that talks about the quality. Okay, positive, negative talks about the quality. What about the distribution? Distribution means what? I'm just giving quick revision so that I'm telling you. Whenever it's a A-type sentence, then the subject will be distributed. What is the subject here? Yes, the apples are being distributed. I'm giving strength on apples. All apples are red. So thereby subject is being distributed. No apples are red. Here what I'm doing? No apple are red. So I'm stressing both on apple and also on red. So both subject and predicate are said to be distributed. Some apples are red. So I'm not emphasizing on apples and also red. So here neither subject nor predicate is said to be distributed. So you can remember like this. Yes and P. Here nothing is distributed. Here predicate alone distributed. Ma'am, why to study all these things, ma'am? Because for the next mood and figure identification, fallacy identification and all, we need to be aware of this distribution. Okay, right. Then what do you mean by predicate? Predicate means what? P. Some apples are not red. Here I am emphasizing on red color. Okay, I am telling some apples are not at all red color. Here the predicate is being distributed. So yes and P, nothing is distributed, and here predicate is distributed. Clear, learners? Clear? Yes, okay. So with this example, I just want to move to the next one. Syllogism. Right? What do you mean by syllogism? Right? It is consisting of 3 statements, 2 premise and 1 conclusion. So there are 3 categorical propositions which has see, this is called as a proposition. This is premise. We say it's proposition, or we call it as a premise. So this is premise 1, this is premise 2, and this is conclusion. Yes. Doubtful, na? Determined. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. So premise 1, premise 2, conclusion. What do you mean by premise 1? The premise 1, premise 2 will be consisting of, note down, this is very, very important. This will consisting of the major term, and then we call it as a major premise. And this we call it as a minor, consist of minor term, and then we call it as a minor premise. Ma'am, what do you mean by major premise? What do you mean by minor premise? See, take a conclusion. Take the conclusion. In that conclusion, whatever is there in the predicate at the last, okay, at the last. And this we call it as what? Major term. This we call it as major term. And see here in the same conclusion, whatever there in the subject, and that we call it as minor term. And this creatures that have should be there in the premise 1, and that premise is called major premise. And whatever we have here, it should be there in this one, and that we call it as minor premise. Clear, learners? So the predicate term of the conclusion is called as the major term. Subject term of the conclusion is called as a minor term. The term that does not appear in the conclusion but appears 2 times in the premises. See here, 2 times in the premises, and that is called as a middle term. Vishwapriya, I don't know whether I will be able to. I will try to cover. If not, I will do it in a separate series. Because I would like to complete by 2:15, right? 2:20. So Indian logic, if not possible, I will do it in a separate one. Indian logic, I will do it in a separate one. Don't worry. Yes. Tomorrow also I will try to cover. I'm just covering the most important across all the 10 units. I'm just covering. Don't worry. Tomorrow also I'll do a quick kind of a revision. Without this interaction, I'll be doing quick. So this is what we call syllogism. Okay. So with this one, we have a fallacy. What are the fallacies? Fallacies we have. Fallacy means error. Fallacy means what? Error. Error in what? Error in the two types there. Error in the content, error in the structure. If the error is in structure, then I call it as a formal fallacy. If the error is in the content, then we call it as an informal fallacy. Yes. Yes, sure, Vishwapriya. I'll do it. Don't worry. You said that you need it. Granted. So, so from the content, when there is a mistake, then there is an error, then it's called informal. When there is a structure in that error, means it's formal. Now, what do you mean by structure? Structure means that premise 1, premise 2, and the conclusion. In this, if there is any type of error, and then we call it as what? Formal fallacy. What should be there? The placement should be very clear. Here it should have the minor, and here it should have the major, and this major should be here in the first premise. This minor should be there in the second premise. If there any of the thing has been changed, and then we call it as a formal fallacy. If any of these things we changed, means then that we call it as a formal fallacy. Clear? Please try to just understand these 6 fallacies. Undistributed middle, illicit major, illicit minor, fallacy of exclusive premises, right? A negative premises requires a negative conclusion. A positive premises requires a positive conclusion, right? These are the important premises. I'll give everything with an example as we have done already. I think you want to go with this example, or shall I go to the informal fallacy? Okay, what do you mean by undistributed middle? What do you mean by undistributed middle? Okay, I'll just tell you what all the fallacies, and then I'll move to the informal fallacies. Yes, yes, yes. Listen, you want me to tell all the fallacies, or shall I move to the next one? Now, just quickly tell me. Very good. If you have doubt regarding the fallacies, right? Regarding the formal fallacy, informal fallacies, kindly please go to the links that I have given. I'll just tell you. Yes. Okay, 2 minutes I can able to. Undistributed middle. What do you mean by undistributed middle? When the middle term, okay, the middle term is not distributed in any one of the premises. Any one of the premises means then we call it as undistributed middle. Okay, learn the definition. Then the middle term, I have middle term, right? Middle term lies in the premise 1 and premise 2, right? Premise 1 and premise 2, and there is a conclusion. If that middle term is not distributed in any one of the premises, means then I'll say it is the undistributed middle. Ma'am, how to find out the formal fallacy? Ma'am, first what we have to do, we have to note down the type of statement. Type of statement, A type or E type we have to say. Second one, we have to find out the middle, major, and the minor statement we have to find out. Third one, what we have to say, we have to talk about the distribution. After finding out all these 3 things, we'll be easily able to identify what kind of fallacy is there. Okay, so first one is about the undistributed middle. When the middle term is not distributed in any one of the premises, means then that fallacy is said to be what? Undistributed middle. What is the second one? Second fallacy is illicit major. So illicit major means that major term is there, right? That should be distributed in the major premise. Distributed in major premise. That should be distributed in the major premise, and that we call it as what? Illicit major. Yes, yes. Next one, illicit minor. Third one, illicit minor. So that minor term where it will resides, minor term will be in the premise 2. So in that premise 2, that should be distributed. That should be distributed in the minor premise. That we call it as minor term. Okay. What is the fourth one? Fourth one is exclusive premises. Exclusive premises. What do you mean by exclusive premises? Exclusive premises. Yes. Exclusive premises. Yes, quick. Two. Yes, quick. You are doing revision, right? You can write it there. Yes, very good, very good, very good. Yes, very good. Both the premises are said to be negative. When I have both the premises are negative. Both are negative. Both are negative premises means then that fallacy we call it as what? We call it as exclusive premises. We call it as exclusive premises. Very good. Next, what is the fifth one? When there is a negative premise, right? Premise 1 are there, premise 2 are there, premise 3 are there. So here I have a negative conclusion. But here both are said to be positive. Both are anyone positive means what? Then here I am drawing a negative conclusion. This is said to be a fallacy. If another case, I have here negative premises, but I am drawing a positive conclusion, then that also will said to be a fallacy. Yes, right? Yes, this is also a fallacy. Drawing affirmative conclusion from negative premise, drawing negative conclusion from the positive premise. Very good, clear. Next one, sixth one. Existential fallacy. Existential fallacy. What do you mean existential fallacy? Existential fallacy. Yes, yes, very good. Whenever there is an all type sentences, it should not go to a particular statement, right? Existential fallacy. Yes. Whenever there are all type statements derive to a universal to some. Okay. So whenever a universal goes to a particular statement, very good, super, good, 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 super, good. So these are the fallacies with respect to the formal fallacy. Very good. For examples, there we have, I will just post the link here today. For examples, for all these things, I have given you the examples with the PYQs. You can go and check with the playlist. Those who are new, for also for practicing, you can go back to the playlist of paper 1. There we have done these all fallacies with an examples. We have done all these fallacies with an examples. You can kindly go there and you can check. Okay. Yes, and along with this, we have two more fallacies like affirmating the consequent and denying the antecedent. These two also the added fallacy being asked this time. Okay, what do you mean the affirming the consequent? It means an error in the formal logic where if the consequent means what? The consequence which is going to happen is said to be true, the antecedent is said to be true as a result. Say example, if tasks are lowered, I will have more money to spend. I have more money to spend, therefore the tax must have been lowered. See, if P, then Q. The premise 1 is this one, premise 2 is this one, conclusion is this one. If it has been given like this, right, this P is said to be the affirming the consequent, and there occurs a affirming the consequent fallacy, right? There is an error in this logic. If the consequent is said to be true, right, then the antecedent is said to be also be true as a result. And this is said to be a fallacy in the logic. Affirming the consequent. And what do you mean denying the antecedent? I am denying this antecedent. Here P is the antecedent, Q is the consequent, right? If the fallacy wherein the if then premise, the antecedents what comes after the if is made not true, but it will be tell here it as a true. Okay. If it barks, it is a dog. If does not bark, therefore it is not a dog. Okay. It may not bark at that time, right? So this is called as denying the antecedent. Denying this antecedent barks. Please note down these two fallacies. This has been asked this time. Okay. Clear? Right. Then next I move to informal fallacy. Very, 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 very important fallacies. I'll be giving you the keywords of all the fallacies. Right? I'll be giving you the keywords of all the fallacies. Clear? Okay. What do you mean by informal fallacy? What do you mean by informal fallacy? So whenever there is a error in the content, then we call it as informal fallacy. The first fallacy is ad hominem fallacy. What do you mean by ad hominem fallacy? Whenever I am attacking the person, personally when I am attacking a person, and that fallacy we call it as ad hominem fallacy. Okay. Whenever I am attacking a person personally, and that then fallacy is called as what? Ad hominem fallacy. Okay, can you please tell me some examples of ad hominem fallacy when it comes? Okay, don't worry, I'll give you an example for fallacies, ad hominem fallacies. Yes. Okay, so persons are talking, right? At that time, when I attack that person personally, okay, the argument what will do, he will be trying to attack that person personally, and that is called as what? Ad hominem fallacy. That we called as what? Ad hominem fallacy. What is second one? Second one is straw man fallacy. What do you mean by straw man fallacy is whenever I'm just attacking the person with respect to his position, positional attack I'm doing, and then that fallacy is called a straw man fallacy. Here what will be happen is here I'll be doing exaggerating things, right? Exaggerating things can be happened. I'll be talking too much, overthinking can be happened. All these things are example of what? Straw man fallacy. Okay, right. Third one is add ignorance. For this, there may not be any proof of happening, not proven, right? But we'll be telling this thing that cannot be said to be true or said to be false, and that we call it as add ignorance. For this, we can take an example of ghost, God, signs. There are some signs which has not been proven, so that we cannot say that it does not exist because of not proven, right? That is called add ignorance. Then fourth one is what? It's called slippery slope. What do you mean by slippery slope? With the informal fallacy, I stop. I will take giving you another half an hour time. I'll take the Indian logic. Don't worry. What do you mean by informal fallacy? Slippery slope. Small events will be taken to a disastrous outcome. Small step taken to disastrous outcomes. And that we call it as, I've given you example. You remember the example? I lost the pen. Finally, no one will marry me. I lost the pen, so no one will marry me. How? I lost the pen, so that tomorrow I will not able to write the exam. Tomorrow I will not able to write the exam, so I will fail in the exam. If I fail in the exam, I'll be getting arrear. If I'm getting arrear, I will not be getting degree. Not degree, I'm not getting job. Not job, no marriage. No marriage, no child. No child, everyone will curse me. If everyone will curse me, I'll do suicide. So I should not lose my pen. So small events will take and lead to a disastrous outcome, and then it's called exactly right. No pen, no exam, no mark, etc. It goes on. It's a long series that adding negative outcomes. It's called slippery slope. We have to remember the definition of small steps of things added together to a negative disastrous outcome. Yes, next comes false dilemma. False dilemma. What do you mean false dilemma? I have a large samples. In our country, we have many political parties are there. Many political parties are there, but we confine to very small representative. We have large number. We have large number the political parties, but we take only small representation. Okay, we take only small representation. Yes. Okay, and no problem, Monica. No problem. And that we call it as what? False dilemma. Okay. Yes. Next comes. So after false dilemma, we have another one called false cause. False cause of wrong reason when we say something, right? Telling wrong reason to make that it prove right, and that we call it as improper cause. Improper cause when we say something, and that is an example of false cause. Okay. I'll give you an example for this false cause. Okay. 1 minute. So when I say every time I used to go out with an umbrella, it rains. So I'll be saying if I leave home, there will be a sunshine. Okay. Every time I bring my umbrella with me, it rains. If I leave it at home, there will be sunshine. We used to say, right? I take my raincoat yesterday to it felt raining. But when I left it at home, it started raining. We used to say, right? It's a false cause. This is not because of the climate. This is because of us. Yes. Again, I tell you, every time I used to take my raincoat with me. Okay. It rains. If I leave it at home, it will sunshine. Okay. That's a false reason. Telling a false reason by means of poor understanding. That's called false cause. Clear? And you understand? Yes. Next one, equivocation. Equivocation means what? Ambiguity. Ambiguity means what? Giving the meanings will be redundant. The meanings will be redundant. That will be an example for equivocation. Equivocation. Okay, right? We have in one argument, the same argument, one place it will be giving one meaning, another place it will be giving another meaning. That we call it as equivocation. Okay, this is a fallacy of ambiguity. Yes, learners, I given you an example of bark, right? Every tree has bark. Dog barks. So every tree is a dog. We cannot say, right? Every tree is a dog. We cannot say. Here in tree, the bark is said to be the branch, right? And in dog, bark means it used to give sound, barking sound. So that we call it as what? In that proposition, we call it ambiguity. It's called equivocation fallacy. And the next fallacy is fallacy of, we have another more fallacy, post hoc. These are all new fallacies that they are asking in the coming examination. Post hoc fallacy. Post hoc fallacy. Post hoc means what? This event has been happened because earlier it happened. Once upon a time, I went outside. At that time, some wrong thing happened. So anytime when I do this one, I'll be thinking of. Okay, because at that time it happened, right? So this time also it will happen the same thing. So we will not do it. So it's a post hoc fallacy. Earlier it happened. So when I do this now also it will happen. So I will not do it. If I take something like that, that is post hoc fallacy. Yes? Right? It's called post hoc. Next very interesting one. The keyword which we can Okay. One event preceded the another. Okay. Post hoc. Next, very, very interesting. That is advergandium. You can say, appeal to authority. It's called appeal to authority. Advertisements. What do you mean by advertisements? Advertisements. They give advertisements, right? If you use this cream, you'll be very fairer. But they wouldn't have not even applied that cream. But they give advertisements for that cream. Trusting them, you will take and also apply. It will not get the fairness. Okay. That is, okay, with that popularity that we have, that is the voice that they have, they use to advertise. Authority they have, they used to do, but it does not apply. That's called appeal to authority. Or we can also say advercandy. Okay, right. Next comes fallacy of composition. Fallacy of composition. What do you mean fallacy of composition? It applies for the whole, right? Assume that the other parts will be also applying for the whole. It's a fallacy of composition. Individually, Indian crickets are very strong. So we cannot say the whole team as it's strong. That's fallacy of composition. When you say fallacy of division, when I say fallacy of division, individually it may be very, very costly. So that I cannot say that all the individual parts is also said to be costly. And that we call it as what? Fallacy of division. Fallacy of division. And next, very important one comes, we have hasty generalization. We have another one called what? Hasty generalization. 11th one. One. Another one, hasty generalization. Generalizing things. All these teenagers are like this only. They used to do like that. Then they say something, that is hasty generalization. Generalizing the thing with a small sample. This small set of people will doing some wrong things, right? With this one, we'll be telling all the people are like that one. That is hasty generalization. We call it as what? Hasty generalization. Yes, clear? Yes, I hope I have cleared. And we have last one. It's a red hearing. Red hearing. Red hearing means distracting. Red hearing means distracting. Distracting from the argument. Distracting from a argument, and that we call it as red hearing. Red hearing. Clear, learners? Distracting from a argument. Yes? Yes. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Yes. So these are all very, very important fallacies that have been asked so far, right? Don't get confused with the terms that they've given. They will definitely give you big, 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 big sentences to confuse you. But don't worry. Keep all these keywords in mind. Try to do the practice. We have done fallacies there in the YouTube playlist is there. Try to practice both formal and informal fallacies. And you can also come to Unify Study app, right? There we have done so many formal fallacies and informal fallacies. You can just Unify Study app, right? For paid learners, we have done so many fallacies. Try to practice it again so that you'll be getting an idea of all these things, right? Try to cover all these fallacies. I'm telling you again and again, you'll be getting question from square of opposition, and you'll be getting question from fallacies for sure. Okay, and wait, I just want to give you one more addition things to you. What are all things you need to, right? With respect to fallacy, we'll be having questions from these things, and we have Indian logic. Okay, I'll try to cover this Indian logic by tomorrow. Okay, by tomorrow I will be having the same kind of 2 hours class. 2 hours, 2.5 hours class will be there, and tomorrow Indian logic part will be completed, and along with I'm just going to take people development and environment. Okay, so tomorrow's class will be on Indian logic. In Indian logic, I'll be covering. Now itself, I'll be telling you 6 pramanas will be taken, Anumana will be taken, and Hitvavash will be taken. I'll be giving you all the sentence with the examples so that it will be easy for you to revise. 6 pramanas, Anumana and Hitvavash will be taken, and PDE will be taken. So tomorrow it's going to be your quick revision. We'll be doing these things. Okay? Yes. Yes, Satya, we'll do it. Tomorrow we'll be doing pramanas. Yes, I've told you, right? I'll be doing the 6 pramanas, Anumana and Hitvavash. Learners, are you all, do you like the session? Please kindly do like. Those who are not subscribed to the channel, do subscribe. I hope it will be useful to you. I'm giving you last minute revision for your examination. Hope it will be useful to you. Right? Please kindly look after your written notes, whatever you have written. See you all tomorrow at, I'll let you know the timing, whether it is 11:30 or what, I'll let you know. Right? After the app session, I'll be continuing here. So properly it will be 11:30. Okay, 11:30, 2 hour sessions like that. Till 1:30 it will be closed. Right? Yes. Thank you so much. Bye, learners. Paid learners, you can join at 8 o'clock today. We'll be having a 8 o'clock session, 8 p.m. to 9:30 p.m. Yes. Get ready. Those who have not subscribed, subscribe, and you can visit Unified Study YouTube channel and the app for more details. Tata, bye. See you. I've completed by 2:50. Thank you. Put your comments on the comment section about the class, about the content, so that it will be more useful for others also. Yes, thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you, Rukaya ma'am. Thank you. Rajkumar sir, yes, ICT. Today ICT. Please put it in the comment section so that it will be nice. Bye. I'm also going to have my lunch.